Hey guys, here's Edwin, dear instructor, and on this lecture, we are going to be learning how to use a module that will allow us to authenticate users not only with their email or whatever email that we have in the password in the database for them and their password, but by using you know, their Google account, their Amazon account, their Twitter account. So we can allow users that have an Amazon account to log in using their Amazon account to our application, the application that we just created, that we are creating, right? So that's going to be pretty cool. So I just want to remind you that back in a couple lectures ago, a couple sections ago, right, we did this the hard way, right? We created this from scratch. We were able to create a user, hash their password, and authenticate them. So that was pretty cool. We used bcrypt.js to do that. But now we're going to be using passport.js. Okay. Now I want to show you this is their homepage, and they might change it in the future. They might change the background color. Who knows? But it's passportjs.org. Okay. Again, they have a lot of different pre-built code to allow users to log in using their Facebook, Twitter, Google accounts, or over 400 different strategies. And this is what they call strategies. Okay, that pre-built code that will allow them to log in using some other application, right? For example, the Facebook strategy, okay, the Twitter strategy, the Google strategy, okay. Now, we are not going to be using any of this right now. Maybe later on we will. We're going to be using passport-local. We're going to be using this strategy here because this is going to allow the user to log in using their username and password from the database. Now, this has a lot of benefits, okay? One, that we're going to make our application universal. We can plug in other strategies, very simple. So we make our code more flexible. Not only can we allow the user to log in using their username and password that we have for them in a database, but they can use their Google account on Amazon. We're going to try to make our application a little bit more flexible by allowing the user to use maybe their Facebook or Google later on. But I want to show you how to use this module. It's very, very popular. Okay. All right, perfect. So on the next lecture, we're gonna start creating the things that we need for the user for application to start using Passport. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next lectures. One of the reasons why we need a login system in our application is because of the comment section that we are going to create, right? The comment feature. We only want users that are registered to application to be able to comment. I think this is going to be a really good lecture, really good section for you. So we want to be able to have the ability to register users. And we don't have that yet. So this is the first thing that we need to create. We need to create some type of model that takes the first name, the last name, and the email. We're going to be using the email instead of the username for authentication. Okay, as you can see right here. So let's go ahead and create a model. And we, of course, have some type of validation that we have to do here to make sure that these fields match. But that is the least of our problems or of our things that we have to create, right? So we have this route right here, okay? And this is the register route. But let's go to our model here and let's go ahead and create a new one. I want to create a new user model. Okay, I'm gonna copy this from category, which is the simplest one. Okay, so that would be the first step. Now we got to think about the fields that we need, right? We have all those fields in the form, so you're welcome to look at it. I already know them, so I'm just gonna start with, and let me just copy this guy right here and just modify it. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna need all that, but I'm gonna copy. So I'm gonna write the first name here. I'm doing the first lowercase word and then the second case. I'm using camel case format. and I'm just gonna do last name here. Then I'm gonna do email, and I want to do passport, not passport, password. Okay, that's all we want for now. Okay, maybe later on we'll include some more fields here, maybe to have some type of profile or something like that. Okay, so now out of the box we are doing required, meaning that we are doing a database validation. Okay, we don't want these fields empty at all. They need to be filled up. We are also going to be doing validation in the registration page, so that way we don't have to worry about this as much. So let's go to our views, and that will be register. So make sure that you have your required. I don't know if I have them here. First name is going to be required. Last name required. Of course, that's going to force us in development to make sure that these fields are also filled in, which is annoying sometimes, right? Okay, so that's about it. That's refresh. We can see that I guess the validation starts. Great. So we got our model, our user model here. Let's make sure that all the fields are changed. It's gonna be in a database called users, or I mean a table. And of course we gotta change that on top as well. It's gotta be user model here. User schema, I'm sorry. In user schema. Okay. So we created a model and we required some of those inputs in the registration page. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello, 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 my dear students. Are you guys ready? Great. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and start working on the route for that specific model. Now I got this register route here. I'm just going to create another one. Remember that we need a post route. So come back here and we're just going to say post here. And let's just make sure that this works, okay? So I'm going to send. Okay, I'm just going to send that. And I don't know if that's going to work. Let's go to the registration, and that's going to send a method of post. Let's see. You see, this is the inconvenience here, that you got to fill up all this. Make sure that we're doing it correctly. I'm going to do my email. Okay. And some passwords. Okay. And it looks like it's working. See that? Great. Okay, so it's working. We got, make sure that that form has the name fields. So it looks like I already have included that for you there. Okay, remember this form, this registration form is in the block home, just in case you never did this. Okay, so that block home. Okay, sorry about that. That was my Edwin Jr., my kid, you know, making a request. I'm telling you, these kids nowadays, they make requests by texts, by apps, all that stuff. So make sure you see that block home has all that you need there, okay? Anyway, let's go ahead and start working on this. Okay, so I always forget where I am. That route confuses me. It says index there. So what is the first thing that we need to do? Well, we need the user model, right? Cons user, and we need a require. We should have just paste that what we had on top there. There we go. So now that we have that user, let's try to get some information, some data in there, okay? So I could, if I wanted to, just create, just get the data and put it inside the user in a very simple format, like just grab the data and basically instantiate a user like this. This is what I mean. New user, okay? And then start saying, we could do it like this, new user dot first name. Now, what is the difference between doing it like that and doing it this way? It's just I believe doing it this way is just cleaner in my opinion. I don't know. I just like to do it this way. Okay. And as you can see, I'm using the new keyword. Okay. So get used to that. So first name, I'm writing it the same with camel case. Okay. Remember that it has to be the same. If not, this is going to failed. First name. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this guy, put a comma here. Oops. Make sure we copy it with a comma. A couple times, just two more times, I think. Okay. Let's start from here. Last name. Last name. This is the email. Oops. Email. There we go. Actually, this is a password. Oops. Password. All right. Great. This is the first part. So we have this new user here. Now on the next step is going to be a little bit more complicated because we have to do some password hashing and we have to do maybe some validation. So I'm going to leave that for the next lecture, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next lecture. Take care. Welcome back, my dear students. So we are coming pretty far in our application. We need to start validating some of the form data, right? So let's come back here and make sure that our application is working. It looks like it is. Let's go and come back here. So we need to start validating our data here. Now, we are validating it because we're using some of this HTML5 stuff, validation here in the front. So if you want, you really don't have to play around with it too much in the server side. We are also doing validation in the model, okay? So we're doing validation in three different ways. We're using it in the model, well, in the server, and doing it in the front end. Now, you could, and we could, and maybe we will, do some of the validations that we did here. Remember that? So I'm just going to take all this, and we can take it and put it down here like this. Okay? Let's initialize this guy on top here. And let's play around with it, right? Let's just do this and maybe the last name, and this is optional, guys. To be honest with you, I don't use this much. I just wanted you guys to know that this is a way of doing it. Okay, like this. Oops, what is this? This is the email. Let me not be lazy and write this down here. Okay, now we have the password field. Okay, And in the password field, what we want to do is maybe we can say if this is not equal. I think the other one is called password confirm. I'm not 100% sure. Confirm. Let's go back to the form real quick. Yep, password confirm. They're not the same. Password fields don't match. Don't match. Something like that, right? Let's do double quotes on this. Okay. Please include email or add an email. Please add a last name. Please enter your first name. Okay. Something like that. And this would be admin post. Actually not admin, but this would be in the register, right? Actually is not. This is for the post data, so we don't need to. Let's go here, post data. Okay, that's fine. This is misspelled, of course. Match. There we go. If anything, we're just gonna render the view, okay, with some errors. What else do we want to pass into the register page besides the error? Well, nothing else, right? In reality, we want to see if we have no errors, and we have that function that up there. Let's see. Else, we just do our database stuff, right? Let's just send a res here and saying passed or data was good. Okay. Well, we have that required, so that's gonna get in the way. But let's see if we don't have a require in one of these. I'm just gonna fill the rest and see if that one at least goes through. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Enter. Data was good. Let's not fill that one in and see what we get. Oh, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Enter. It's looking for the view register. Oh, it's home register. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Huh. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Enter. Let me make this page a little smaller. Looks like it's refreshing. And well, we are not displaying the errors here. Okay. And we don't have it in our admin layout. So it's not gonna be in the admin layout. It needs to be in the home layout, right? So let's see what we can put this. This is the admin side nav. This is the admin layout. This is the home layout. And we can place these errors after. Let me see. right here. Okay, so let's go in and we're gonna say if errors, we're gonna loop through them. Okay, so let's just do each errors and we're gonna show them. Let's just for now, let's see if we can remember the alert, uh, the div. I don't think that's the one. Alert danger. Let's see. Alert danger message. Let's let's do this now. Enter. I'm not gonna put nothing there. Just gonna fill this in. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Enter. Please enter your first name. So that one is working. Let's check to see if the second one, if it goes through all of them. Okay, so I'm gonna take that require out. I'm gonna take the require password out. I'm gonna take the require all of them out. Okay, just to check. Enter. First name, last name, email. The password is not working because we need to put something in there. So let's do the password as well. Where is this stuff? There we go. Password. Now you can do the passwords together if you want to do that. You know, like if this is empty and you know if it's available. Okay, I'm just gonna do it like this. Let's see now. Oops. Enter. And of course we gotta change the name. Why my editor is playing with me like this? Enter a password. Or this field cannot be blank. Cannot be blank. Something like that. Okay, let's do it again. Let's come back. I'm gonna press enter there, register. There we go, just a little misspelling here, but let's fill everything else in here. And enter. It passed the password data here. And it says if required password, there we go. Let's fix this. I think blank goes like this. Okay, let's go back, make sure that it's working. Fill this in, and put a different password here and a different password here. Enter. Password fields don't match. Okay, so this is working. Like I said before, this is not necessary most of the time, but it's always good to have it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do Command Z or Control Z and add all my required fields in here. Okay, so make sure you have your required fields. It's just double protection, guys. Let's add it here as well. I didn't add it there. Perfect. All right, so we're doing pretty good. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next lecture. Welcome back, my dear students. So it's time for us to start putting data in our database, right? We need to start inserting it because we need our users to be able to log in. So it's only time for us to do that. So are you guys ready? Okay, let's do it. First thing is that we need to go to our code, right? That's the first step. I'm gonna close all these fields, all these files, except the index, which we are working on, right? So now that we know the data was good, it's time for us to construct our created, well, we already created that new object. Let's bring it down to the else statement right here. Okay. Now, here, what we need to do is we need to assign a new value to this password. We need to do something with it because we can't just keep it the way it is in the database. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do it like this, and so that way we can see the difference. Okay. So new user, because we want to be able to insert data first. We want to make sure that everything is working. So let's make sure that everything is working, and then we play around with hashing the password. Okay, and let's just user was saved or something like that. User was saved. Okay, let's try this and let's see if it works, if we don't get any errors. So the first user that I want to register is going to be Maria. Yeah, Maria. And the last name, it would be Linda, which means beautiful. Yeah, if there is any Maria, Linda out there, contact me, because that is really strange. Well, not Linda, I mean, not beautiful, but with the last name Linda, okay? It's, you know, we have all kinds of last names out there, so I don't doubt it. So I'm gonna put a password here: 1 2 3 1 2 and 3. And Maria Linda, are you saved? It looks like she is. Okay, let's go to Mongo. So I'm gonna open my shell. Make sure your MongoD is running your database by doing MongoD. Okay, so I'm gonna use this database, which is use CMS, and then we're gonna go and find out the tables we got. Show tables or show collections, and we see that we have a new users table. So let's go DB users find. Okay, and yeah, she's there, and she has a password 1 2 3. But that's not what we want. We want to be able to hash that password. So just because that's going to be a little lecture that's going to be a little long, I'm going to do it in a separate lecture. Okay, so there you have it, guys. We are able to insert the data into our database. We created a new collection there, so we're doing pretty good. See you in the next lecture, guys. Have fun. Keep it up. Don't get lazy. Wake up if you're sleeping. Get some fresh water in your face, and always remember why you're doing this. See you in the next lecture. How are you, guys? And ladies, of course. Every time I say guys, here in the US, we also say, when we say guys, we mean girls too as well, okay? So guys is like a group word, okay? So when I say guys, remember, ladies, you are included as well, okay? So let's get to it. We are able to register a user, and I was searching for a module to install so that way we can start hashing our passwords. I don't want to do it from scratch, guys. It's just a waste of time. So I went to Google here, my best friend. That's the only friend I got. Well, I got friends. I got a lot of friends, like Facebook friends, but really good friends are hard to find, but you know what I mean. So anyway, so I went there, and it took me to the registry, and I just came here, and I decided to come straight down here and look for Bcrypt. Bcrypt is an algorithm that I use in PHP. Okay, it's really good, very secure, and Node.js has a whole bunch of different modules that we can use with it. So of course, me being the researcher that I am, I started looking for the best ones, and I found these two on top. So Bcrypt and Bcrypt.js, and we're gonna see how many downloads they got. And you can see this one has 24,000. This is Bcrypt, and now this one has 27,000. So you might think that this one, of course, the best one would be on top, but that's not the case here. So what I found out that, and without making you read all this stuff, is that Bcrypt.js is lower, meaning that whoever is trying to hack into your application is just gonna take more time for them to hack it. Okay, as you can see, because it's written in pure JavaScript. Okay, so and thus lower 35%, reducing the number of iterations that can be processed in the equal time span. So I was thinking about using this one. They work basically the same way. We include the module. Okay, let me show you. Include the module, and we have some different options that we can set. Okay, we can set salts. We can even set rounds. So we got the salt here. I don't know if this one has the rounds. Rounds is how many times. The more rounds, the slower the process is for them to hack it. So bcrypt is the one that has rounds here. So if you want to go a little bit more in depth with it, you can. Okay, so I'm not gonna go and use this. I'm gonna go and use the one that has the highest usage. Okay, and it just has less issues as well. This one has 13 open issues. This one has 12. It's just what I'm gonna use, guys. You can use whatever. Okay, so we can go ahead and start creating this here. And the way I learned to do this is that we can create let's go back here real quick, bcrypt.js, so that I can explain it to you a little better. So we can create these configurations first. Okay, we can pull it out like this. If it's true, I mean, this compare sync method will return true or false depending if the hash was found in your database. Okay, so this is the way that I saw it's used. We create this gen salt, we pass this bcrypt hash inside there, and then we store it in the database. Simple as that. So let's go back into our code and do it. So let's install this first of all. So let's go back here. I'm gonna shut down my server, npm install, and then I'm just gonna do npm install bcrypt. I was just making sure that I have my known modules there. I thought that I deleted it for some reason. bcrypt.js, making sure that I have all my package.json references. Sorry. So let me just make sure that that's the right package. Like I said before, sometimes I have downloaded, misspelled a word, and have downloaded the wrong package. So make sure you have exactly the same one. So let's just paste that in here. Enter. Great. Now let's go ahead and turn on our app, our server, and let's just write this first. Let's make sure we bcrypt. I don't know, for some reason this word is kind of hard for me to write. bcrypt.js. I don't know why. So let's go to where we have that else statement right here before we do anything. I'm gonna move this, but let's go and we use this method called generate salt, and we're gonna generate a salt of 10 at least. There is a callback function here that's gonna return an error and the salt that we need. Okay, salt is just a random string of characters, okay, just to make our passwords harder. And then we are going to use bcrypt again to hash, and this hash function is going to take the new user password, which is the password from the database, right? And we're gonna salt. It's gonna take the salt, which is here in this callback, and now there's another callback function here that's gonna return our hash password. Okay, there we go. Now remember that this new user password is the password coming from the form. Okay, and we are hashing it. We're passing the salt to this hash function or method, and then we are coming back with a hash password. So it's doing behind the scenes, it's hashing it for us. And now we should see some type of hash password in here. Okay, so I just want to show you that that's what it is. And I'm just going to comment that out. Let's go to our server here. And I'm just going to write whatever. I just want you guys to see the passwords. Enter. Of course, we're going to see this in the server. And you can see the password, the hash password here. You see the algorithm right here. This is the $. This is BigCrypt doing that. So $2 and the 10 is the right here. Well, the 10, this is the amount of time this is going to go around. So this is doing 10, I believe. Okay, and then we have, I believe this dot right here is the salt. Okay, every dot here, and I forgot all of them, but every dot here is a special parameter here. Okay, we got the algorithm. Then I believe we have the salt, the password, and everything is here. You can decode it. You can find out more information about BigCrypt and how it's created. I haven't really read the documentation in a while, but that's, if you want to go in depth, there is more information in the documentation about BigCrypt, okay, on what each of these parameters is doing. Okay, so anyway, we're going to continue this in the next lecture, guys. Thank you. Welcome back, my dear students. So it's time for us to start putting some generated hashes into our database, right? So some hash passwords. So this function, I was looking into it in the database. Well, not in the database. In the documentation, this is for BigCrypt.js, and you can see that it takes the rounds as the first parameter here, and then the seed length and a callback. Okay, so basically saying here this is not supported, but as you can see, the rounds takes a number, and number of rounds to use default is tens. Okay, 10. Now the rounds is, and I found a good explanation here. Rounds are the cost of processing the data. The higher the number, the harder, the slower this would take a automated software to hack onto your application. Okay, now that's what the rounds are. Now the salt is default is 10, so it's gonna be like a set of for the salt, and I found out the default was 10. I've been looking back and forth into BigCrypt and BigCrypt.js, but the salt is a string and numbers, so it's a string generated with numbers and words, and the default is 10. So I just wanted to give you some general data in the documentation. That way you don't have to look it up, but it's good to know. Okay, so now that we have our hash password there, we got to use it here by saying, hey, I want to convert that property value into my hash. Okay, that's the first thing. Then we want to use this here because we want to save the data, right? There we go. And we just save the data. Now let's see if, let's go back to our Mongo. I want to delete the users right here, and I could delete it by doing, find the user and remove it if I want to. And there is a function called find and remove, I believe. You can look it up in the documentation in the Mongoose, but I'm just gonna drop the whole thing. There we go. db users.drop. So let's go back here. I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna try to enter a new user with my email. Password is gonna be 123, 1, 2, and 3. Enter. It says the user was saved. So I'm gonna press up arrow here to find in the Mongo shell. I'm going to find that new user with a new password. Look at that. Beautiful. So now we are able to hash users. So now once the user gets registered, where do we want to send this person? Well, we can send it to admin, right? Because they are able to log in. But let's just put it here for now. But later on, we need to authenticate this user. Welcome, my dear students. So I was thinking, instead of redirecting this guy to admin, we should be redirecting it, redirecting our users to login page, right? But before we do that, we could write some type of flash message here, right? And we can say success. There we go, underscore message. And we can say something like, you're now registered. Please log in, or something like that. Great. So you guys remember what we're doing with this? The flash, how we're doing this? I know it's been a long time, but this is where we got it, okay, in our app.js. And now we are making this variable, local variable, that we have available in a partial here. So this partial is included in our admin. So anyway, anytime anywhere inside our admin that we get a success variable, a variable that's named like this is going to display, okay, if it finds it. Now we need to include this partial inside the home to see our flash as well for the home layout, okay? So let's register a user. I'm gonna register the same user. I did a drop in my database again, just to making sure that I have my database is empty. And refresh, and now you can see, now it says you are now registered, please log in. But we also have some type of div there. Let's handle that one. Let's go back to our views, home, register. That's because we have some type of not here is in the login page right here. So we got this alert. We're just gonna take that off. We're not up to that point yet. So great, at least that's working, right? We have a user register, and now we're getting some type of pop-up here, or some type of indication that their users registered. That's great stuff, right? Welcome back, my dear students. So you guys are having a lot of fun. Now it's time for us to come back to the form here, and one of the features that I want to add is that I want to be able to not allow the user, or not, bother the user with entering all his data again here. Imagine we had a form that was 100 fields, right? We asked for a whole bunch of information. It wouldn't be nice for the user to have to type in all the data again once they messed up. And that has happened to me in websites, and I really hate it. You don't understand how much I hate that. To be able to type in some mistake in some type of image verification, click on register, and then the whole entire page will get refreshed, and I have to type in all my data again. That's horrible, very horrible experience. So in this lecture, we're gonna do that. We're gonna make sure that all the data is back in the form when somebody's registering, and we're gonna check for the email, because we don't want to do anything if that email exists, right? We might want to have to redirect the user somewhere else. So let's start with the data. So in the index, and this is the register post, when they're about to submit all their data, we got this array here that we are returning just the errors. Why don't we start returning the, let's say, first name, okay? And we can start returning the same value of the form back, okay? You can go ahead and try to do that yourself. I'm gonna, just pause the video and try to do that yourself here. You were able to do it. It's pretty easy, right? We just have to get the body first name here. Basically all the same data we have in our object. Where is our object? Right here. Same thing, right? Same exact thing. We just get all these fields back. Now, the trick with this, and we don't want the password back, right? But the trick with this is that we have to go back to the view, register view, and in the value field, that's where we have to type in those things. So right here in the start, I'm just gonna do it here, and I'm just gonna say first name, and here I would say value last. Actually, hold on, we're doing this in handlebars. So first name, let's do this a couple times like that, and then we'll replace that data. Okay, guys, let's just do it here and do for password. We're not doing it for. So only 3 fields: the first name, last name, and email. And that's a big one there. The email, sometimes you have to put that ampersand, that at symbol, and that's just a pain in the rear. Okay, so we don't have a lot of fields here, but imagine if the user did, right? So let's say I put Edwin Diaz and I try to register. I'm just gonna try to put some password here, and there we go. Now it gets refreshed, but my data is back here. Now I got this div here that I don't know where it's coming from. I have to find it somewhere in my application. Anyway, I'll find that later. This is my fault. Okay, so that's somewhere in my application. Maybe I was somewhere in a admin or a layout or something. I'll find it. But anyway, so you can see that we got that. Now let's play around a little bit with displaying some type of message if this email is available in a database, if it does exist. So let's go back to our index, and right before we start messing around with creating a user, I think we should start doing it right here in this else statement. What do you guys think? Well, you guys can do it wherever you want, but I'm gonna do it right here. So I'm gonna say user.find one, and we're gonna find a user with an email that is equal to the one coming from the form. Okay, simple as that. Then we get a then here, and this is where we want everything to happen, right? We get the user here, and then after we get a user, we say if the user, okay, if that user is available, then we start playing around with it, right? That's that, and this is this, and let's just get all that data in there. Okay, right there. Else, then what we want to do is we want to maybe send a flash or something, and say I don't know, some type of error message, and we say something like that email exists, please log in, something like that, and then we can redirect the user somewhere else. Let's redirect them to the login page. Okay, login area. Okay, we don't have that message anywhere, so let's go ahead and go to our apps and add some type of error message here, something like that. Now, one thing that I wanted to make you aware, and I'm actually going to mention that later, is that we can take our functionality from that, sorry about that, from our index here to our model, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, we can create methods. So this, we can actually make another one like this, and Make sure it says error message here. Simple as this. Let's change the div to danger, signifying that something went wrong, right? Now I have two entries with, oops, this is where that went. Let's go to register real quick and fix that. That's my label. So I already have two entries with, where is it? Right here. You guys probably saw that in the last lecture, didn't you? In the form. I don't know how I get this. Sometimes I'm typing in my other IDE, and then when I try to type in here, I get this. I can't do anything. I get like a frozen page. But anyway, so I already have two entries with Edwin Diaz at Edwin. With Edwin at edwindiaz.com. So if I try to use this now, if I register, it's gonna tell me, oh, it's not working. Let's go back here and let's see why it's not working. Let's go back to index. So we are saying if the user is available. Oh, of course not. If the user, well, if we find the user, we are actually inputting all the data. So if not the user, we can do this. Okay, else we do that. All right, I got my logic backwards there. Sorry for that. Let's register. Let's do it again. I should have 3 Edwins now. All right, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Register, and there we go. That email exists. Please log in. So that's about it. Let me just delete all my users. Drop. Okay, and now you can test this, but I'm pretty sure it works. Okay, you can, right now I can register a user. Let's just test it just to make sure that it works. I'm gonna register a user. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Register. You see that one went through because we don't have any users. Now that we do have a user, let's see how that goes. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And there we go. And now let's check the database to see if we have anything there. Let's do dbusers.find, and we only have one user available. We can use that pretty function like this to make sure our data is, you see, we only have one user. All right, that's it for this lecture, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.